all the gin joints in all the towns in all the world. She walks into mine.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
There's no crying in baseball.
You talking to me?
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Wait a minute. You ain't heard nothing yet.
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You can't handle the truth!
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Hello and welcome again to the Old School Movie Club podcast. I am Shawn Patterson, joined with my friend once again, Kevin Levine. Kevin, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm a little tired, but I'm good.
Me too.
How are you?
I'm also tired. We're recording this like 2 hours later than we were supposed to because of me, and it's just I'm just tired.
Yeah, I didn't sleep well last night
week.
either.
What was that?
I said I didn't sleep well last night.
Yeah, I had a long week, so hopefully we can get the energy up for Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That's what we watched this week. And I'm gonna have to give this to you, Kevin, because I have a very, very unpopular opinion about this movie.
Well, see, it's kind of like we reversed roles with The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
When you loved it, and I just thought it was kind of okay. Except this time, I loved Ferris Bueller, and you not so much.
Yeah, I was talking about this with like my parents and stuff, and I was just trying to understand like why this movie was so popular. Like I think I laughed like a genuine laugh like one time in the movie. And the only thing I would say like that was cool about this movie, for me, and like I know that my opinion's very, very unpopular with this movie. Like I know this is a classic movie. It just didn't hit the mark for me. But I thought one cool thing about the movie was because I had never seen this before, and I finally get all those like pop culture references from that came from this movie. Like when they're in the art museum and he's staring into the portrait that they like parodied on stuff like Family Guy and stuff like that. And the running scene at the end, which they have like a commercial pretty much parodied after. So I thought that was cool.
That scene where he's running back home is also referenced in the new Spider-Man Homecoming.
See, I haven't seen that either.
But so did you watch all the way through the credits of Ferris Bueller to see the post-credit scene?
When the principal is on the school bus?
No. There's one all the way at the end where Ferris walks out of his bedroom in a bathrobe and basically says, "You guys are still here? It's done." And the end credit scene for Deadpool makes fun of that scene.
See, there's a lot of like different movies that pull from this movie, and like it's really, really big in pulp culture, obviously. But I don't know why it just like didn't hit the mark for me. I just like I thought it was overly. I didn't like the character, like Matthew Broderick's character at all. Like a part of me hated it. Like I actually like did not like this. Like it didn't feel, and I know it's supposed to be like this fun comedy, but like it just I don't know. It's a very, very weird thing for me because usually I can like, pull myself out of reality for a second and kind of like follow a movie, even if it is a little bit outlandish and stuff like that. But this one was just like, I just didn't like. Is it supposed to be funny? Kevin, did you laugh?
I laughed many, many times during this movie.
So tell me what you liked about this movie, because like I said, I have a very unpopular opinion, and I'm not even sure what my opinion is on this movie.
My favorite thing about the movie, and it's a very stylistic choice, but is how often it breaks the fourth wall.
See, and I like that about movies like in Deadpool and stuff. Like, I really, really like that. I think it's done really, really well. But in this, I don't know. I might have been going into this with like an overly negative view on it, because I was not looking forward to this movie in the first place. Because just knowing everything I did about this movie, I pretty much knew I wouldn't enjoy it. It's just not my kind of comedy, I guess.
And everyone thought I was the comedy critic.
See, but at least you have like, when you were bashing Big Lebowski, you had like, things to go to. I honestly, like, it's weird to me. Like, I almost have zero opinion of this movie coming out of watching it. Like, I was like, yeah, I watched it. I got all the way through, and I laughed, like, at one point, and I can't even remember that time that I laughed.
Ooh.
And then...
You need to watch this a second time.
I think I do. Like, I just, like... Maybe because it was late when I watched it, and I was tired. I don't know. That's why, like, I feel so weird about it. I just, like... It just went completely over my head or something. Like, why people like this.
You definitely need to watch it a second time. I think it's just... and I don't even think it's too much of, like, an outlandish kind of movie.
It's not, like, crazy outlandish.
It's
like,
realistic and nonsensical at the same time.
Yeah, but I don't like how, like... one of the main things I don't like about is that, like, the whole point of the movie is he doesn't ever face any form of, like, even when he does face, like, obstacles and stuff, it's like no big deal. It's like whatever.
That's very much Ferris Bueller's personality.
Yeah, and I'm Ferris Bueller and everything's gonna work out for me. But that's maybe why I didn't like it. Cause like, it's just like, okay, how is it, like, it's not unrelatable in any way, so, but I don't know if it's supposed to be like that. See, like, I probably do need to watch it again, and I like to give it a justice, but on first viewing, like, this movie was, like, not my cup of tea, obviously.
That's fair.
So what did you think? What did you think about the performances in this movie? Which I thought, like, if Matthew Broderick's goal was to make me think, like, oh, he has no problems in the world, he has no cares in the world, everything is gonna work out for this kid, and he has no, like, has everything pretty much given to him, then yeah, he got that accomplished for me. But what did you think about it?
In terms of performances,
like, what were your highlights of the movie? Because, like I said, I'm pretty much, like, that's my opinion on the movie. Like, I don't have anything else for this.
Right. No, I mean, I thought it was really good. Matthew Broderick, this isn't my favorite Matthew Broderick performance. I still prefer him as Simba in The Lion King.
Who's Simba?
But, yeah, he was adult Simba.
What?
Yeah.
What? I thought the only other Matthew Broderick movie I'd ever seen is Cable Guy.
Man, you need to go back and do some research.
For real.
Or at least rewatch some movies. I enjoyed Matthew Broderick. Most of the other cast in this movie, I haven't seen them in anything else except for Jennifer Grey, who played Ferris's sister.
Yeah, she was a big actress.
And then Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, I actually did like the Charlie Sheen. I think that is actually where I laughed, like, that one time. It was like, oh, you know him? Like, the Ferris Bueller thing? That was pretty funny.
What was funny for me was watching that scene. I saw him show up and I was like, oh, that looks kind of like Charlie Sheen. And then I went and looked up the cast and, yeah, sure enough, that was Charlie Sheen 30 years ago.
Yeah. When he came up, I was like, oh, I didn't know he was in this movie. And then, like, he had that one line. I was like, oh, that was pretty funny. That was like my only interaction with the movie the entire time. Like, I really think I need to, and maybe I'll, like, revisit this next week shortly, like, kind of give it a second viewing, give it a second chance, and kind of give, like, my updated review on it. But right now, like, after the first viewing, and I think that's, see, I give Big Lebowski 2 viewings too, though, like, I don't know,
we both gave Big Lebowski 2 viewings, but
it was, like, super, like, unentertaining to me. Like, I almost fell asleep a lot.
I was thoroughly entertained the whole time. I think my favorite scene was probably the parade scene. Just watching Ferris on that float, singing and dancing and having a good old time while his girlfriend and his friend were kind of off to the side, like, oh god, he's gonna get us caught. We're gonna get in so much trouble for this.
Some things I did, like, actually like about the movie and the kind of messages and stuff like that is Matthew Broderick's friend, Alan Ruck, who played Cameron.
Yeah.
Like, his whole story I thought was a lot better than Ferris Bueller's story. Like,
yeah, Cameron
if
Cameron
he was
as
the
a
main character and had more
depth
focus
than
on
any
it,
other
then he'd
character in
be
the movie.
like, yeah. Cameron
He was
as
the
a
only one
character
to
was a
really
lot
saw
more
get
in-depth.
emotional, especially during the car scene.
Yeah, exactly. Like if he was, I'm not one to like, I'm not a movie critic or anything, but I think if Cameron was the main character for me, and I know like this is a classic and it's kind of blasphemy to say like, why are you changing this up? But for me, if Cameron was the main character and you got all that depth and stuff, and then Ferris Bueller was like this wacky friend that he had, that like everything worked out for it all the time, then I might have been more willing to give it a shot, maybe.
Right.
I just didn't like how everything works out for Ferris Bueller. It's like nothing ever like goes wrong, or there's no real obstacles. The only time that it ever goes wrong is it goes wrong for his friend. So it's just, I don't know.
What do you think about the fact here that John Hughes wrote the screenplay for this movie in less than a week?
I can believe that. I can definitely believe that. I think he might have been surprised of how big of a hit it was. Because this movie, like, when I told my parents about my opinion about this movie, they were shocked. They're like, did not understand why I didn't like that. Well, my dad kind of was on the same board with me, but my parents were genuinely shocked. Yeah, about my opinion on this movie.
Yeah.
So what were your?
I think it's great that the screenplay was written in less than a week, because for me that shows that it very much is the way John Hughes wanted it. He did it one time. He's like, you know what? We're going through with this. This is going to be great. It's going to be a fun time. I had fun with it. I think, yeah.
That kind
but
of is like the
it's
whole
so
thing
weird to
about the
think
movie,
like
too.
he did that in less than a week, but sometimes it could take me 2 weeks to write a 5-page paper.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's true as well. And maybe it's like says something about the movie. Is like this is written in less than a week, and it's kind of like the same thing as like he probably didn't hit any obstacles when writing this, and neither does Ferris in his whole journey. So that kind of is a cool like little tie-in. Like Ferris Bueller would take probably about a week to write this movie too. Right.
And another thing that surprised me with this movie that probably won't surprise you is the fact that it wasn't nominated for any awards.
Was it, so do you know the general reception of it when it first came out? Was it like a big hit right off the bat?
Yeah, it was. If we look right here. Yeah, it's got positive reviews from critics, from audience. It's listed in like these AFI's top 100 lists for like 100 laughs, which is like the top 100 comedies, and also 100 movie quotes. So it's got like some of the most quotable lines in the movie.
It does have some quotable lines. And I don't know. My initial, like I said, my initial view on this is very, very, very like unpopular and critical of it, but
what do you think the movie did right? Besides Cameron's character.
Not much. I mean, it's not like it's poorly shot or like there was a lot of mistakes in the movie, and I could definitely see like how people could find this funny. I just don't think I was in the right frame of mind when going to see this movie. Like I really actually feel like that way, and I couldn't get over it. So
you definitely need to rewatch this.
I do, like, especially like listening to your take on it. Like you seem to like really, really enjoy it, and I'll definitely give it another chance. But
because when I was watching this, I mean, you and I have known each other for a while now, and when I was watching this, I was imagining what you would want to do, skipping a day of high school.
But see, like it was so much harder than that. Like everything just worked. Like maybe that's why I didn't like it. It's like this is very, very inaccurate to what a skipping a day and like he'd missed 9 days. Ooh.
Hey, nine days is a lot in high school.
I know, but you knew me in high school, so.
I wonder if our friend Trevor has seen this too, because
I doubt it.
The Chicago Cubs scene, I love that one.
I doubt it. See, okay, another part I thought was funny was like the kind kind of background joke where Ferris kind of spread all these rumors on the school phones, and they kind of kept popping up. I thought that was kind of cool, like how they had that recurring joke and stuff, and it was like, oh, okay, that's, and like you said on the Chicago Cubs scene, on the Cubs stadium, it says "Save Ferris" and stuff like that, and I don't know. See, there's a lot of iconic scenes in this, and it was like, okay, that's cool, like that scene's cool. I didn't really laugh though, and it's supposed to be a comedy, but I like the scene, and maybe because like some of the scenes I had already seen before, but in different mediums, you know?
Right.
I don't know. Like, it's very, very weird to me. And I feel like I'm like going in circles about this. So, what were your favorite characters in this movie? Was it just Ferris? Ferris all day, all day?
Ferris and Cameron.
Cameron.
But
okay.
I also really loved Ed Rooney. I thought he was a great villain.
See, like, the principal thing, like, going that hard after a kid to, like, just get him held back is just like, whoa.
He was ambitious.
Yeah, very, very ambitious.
Right, and I love the scene when he and Ferris's sister both get back to the house at the same time, and each other thinks that the other person is Ferris.
Also, if I was that mom, I'd be so mad at that sister. Because, like, she, like, saw Ferris. Okay, I didn't understand this one either. And I get maybe Charlie Sheen kind of changed her mind and stuff. But when she saw Ferris, when she sped back home to create that false, like, sense of urgency for Ferris Bueller, and then she, like, lets him off the hook anyways.
Yeah. Well, I think part of that is because once she realized that Rooney was there at the house too, after what she had gone through with Rooney, when they were both in the house together, and it, like, he got a little pervy there, and then she kicked his butt.
Yeah.
I mean, she realized at that point that she probably hates Rooney more than she hated Ferris.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's it.
And if anyone's going to get Ferris in trouble, it's
like,
going to be her.
See, my whole interpretation of it was, Charlie Sheen, you know, had that whole line is like, maybe you should stop worrying about what your brother's doing and start worrying about yourself.
Yeah.
And, when she saw Ferris and kind of was like, okay, I'm going to speed up now and try and get him in trouble, I was like, okay, she didn't listen to him at all. Like, that whole scene was kind of worthless. And then when she got home and gave him the wink and everything, I was like, okay, maybe she did listen to him and she just wanted to rush home just to make Ferris run a little bit. I don't know.
Maybe she had a revelation while she was driving.
Maybe. When she was
the only thing that
tickets.
in that scene at the end was what happened to the cops, because it kind of cuts out that part.
Yeah, she's like, oh, she got a speeding ticket and then another speeding ticket, and then that's like the end of it.
Yeah, like, how are you getting 2 speeding tickets in the time that it takes him to run home?
How are you not getting arrested for, like, resisting arrest and, like, causing a high-speed chase when you're in the neighborhood just, like, going off and, like, saying, oh, I'm not pulling over until I get back to my house.
Yeah, and then the cop's not even there at the house.
Yes. It's just, like, I'm gonna give it another chance, and like I said, next week I'll revisit it, like, for maybe a minute or two to kind of give my updated thoughts on it, but I don't know, this movie, it just didn't do it for me, man. Anyways, do you want to get into final thoughts?
That's fair. I mean, do we have anything else to add?
I don't have anything else to add about this movie.
I loved it. You didn't. You think you should watch it a second time?
I think I should watch it a second time, but my first, I'm going to give a rating on my first viewing. So go ahead and give your kind of quick review on it, like a 1-minute review on it.
I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. I think there are some things in it that are a little too unbelievable, such as the whole cop scene there at the end. Performances were great for me. The comedy was great for me. So yeah, 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. All right, yeah. And I'm giving this a Old School Movie Club low, I think. Have you rated anything lower than this?
My lowest was a 3 for Big Lebowski so far.
All right, I'm giving this an Old School Movie rating low for me at 2.5 out of 5 on first viewing with a little asterisk. saying I'm gonna view this again because I felt a lot of the same things about Big Lebowski, and I ended up giving it a second chance because there was books written about that movie, man. I don't know if there's any books
and then
written
you
about
loved
this
it the second time.
I did, and maybe I'll love it the second time this time, and maybe I'm just being really, really unfair to this movie, and maybe I have a vendetta against Matthew Broderick.
Maybe so.
But for my initial viewing, it's only 2.5 out of 5. Like I said, I only laughed once. A few of the scenes were cool. It's enjoyable if you're awake, just be awake, and maybe have it on the background. You can get through it. If it was on cable, I'd
very
probably watch
easy
it
to get
again.
through.
Yeah. All right, Kevin. I don't even think we discussed what we're watching next week.
No, but before we get into that, though, I just wanted to give a quick little tribute to the famous horror director Tobe Hooper, who ended up passing away yesterday.
Okay. What movies did he?
He directed the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Ooh, classic.
The original one. That was his biggest thing. He did a lot of other really well-known horror films as well, but the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was his biggest one. So, rest in peace, Tobe Hooper. Now, we do need to discuss and decide what we're watching next week, because we haven't done that yet.
Okay, well, last week you put up a list of movies, so maybe I think we should just pull from that. And you said Close Encounters is what you're watching?
Close Encounters of the Third Kind we're doing next week.
Yep. So this week, what were the other two options from your poll last week?
Rocky and Rebel Without a Cause.
Rocky and Rebel Without a Cause. See, my initial vote is Rebel Without a Cause because I actually know nothing about that movie going into it.
That'll be my initial vote as well, because there's a lot of references to Rebel Without a Cause in La La Land, which is my favorite movie, and I've never seen Rebel Without a Cause.
Yeah, I don't even know what it's about, honestly. And Rocky obviously is a giant classic movie. If you don't know it, even if you've never seen Rocky, if you don't know what Rocky's about, then you're actually under a rock.
Yes.
So I think we're just gonna go with Rebel Without a Cause. Is that good with you?
Yeah.
Do you even know what the kind of initial
Rebel Without a Cause?
Do you know what the plot is going into it? Do you have any idea what it's about?
I know nothing about it, but I can look it up here real quick.
1955.
Yeah, 1955. It's about emotionally confused suburban middle-class teenagers.
Huh. Okay.
This doesn't really offer much
James
about
Dean.
what it's about, but hey, I'll take it. This is a classic, and it's James Dean.
Yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Rebel Without a Cause next for this upcoming week. If you have any suggestions for us to watch next week, we'll be watching Close Encounters because Kevin's gonna be seeing it in a big movie theater because he's really, really lucky like that.
Yes. Well, it's probably playing in a theater somewhere where you live too.
Yeah, I just don't go to theaters ever.
Well, you need to for this one.
I know. I showed the list that you had to my parents. I was kind of explaining what we do on the podcast,
right?
And they were just naming movies oh yeah, that one's gonna be good. I can't wait for you to watch that one. Oh yeah, that one's gonna be really good too. And then one of the ones they stopped on was Close Encounters. And I was like, okay, we're watching that in 2 weeks. So
yeah, you guys need to go see that in theaters because it really is something else to see one of these kinds of movies in theaters. Like when I saw Jaws. Yeah,
it adds a little bit more, a bigger element to it.
And it takes away all the distractions. It's just you in the movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's better than me laying down on my bed or sitting on a couch watching a movie.
At 3 a.m.
At 3 a.m. Not the day before, though. Not the day before this time.
No.
But yeah.
I look forward to Rebel Without a Cause just because it's got all those connections to La La Land, and I want to see what it's about.
I'm not as interested in Rocky, as weird as that sounds, as I am with Rebel Without a Cause. Cause?
Same. We'll get to Rocky eventually.
If you do have any suggestions for us for movies after Close Encounters, let us know on Twitter. We have a giant list of movies, so if you name a movie before 1980, chances are that's probably on the list, like a big classic movie from before 1980. Chances are it's on the list. And let us know your thoughts on these movies as well. We want to have your input and make this a community thing. So let us know your thoughts on these movies that we're watching. YouTube comments, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere. All right, Kevin.
Be interactive.
Yep, be interactive. Where can they find you to be interactive on?
Find me on Twitter at KevWatchedAFilm and on Letterboxd at KevWatchesFilms.
All right, and you can find me at letterboxd.com/patpat, and then you can follow the show at Twitter, or at Old School Movie Club. Oh, Old School Movie SK on Twitter. Gosh, Kevin. We're both just
Words are a
like,
struggle today, man.
We're just hanging on by a thread there. All right, at Old School Movie SK on Twitter, and Kevin,
There you
I
go.
think that's it for us.
Go watch movies.
Watch movies.